I don't get it. And Conte went on to mention about, we got to get them fitter and did it. But they were fit enough against Leeds, weren't they, second half coming back? So I don't get last night. I really don't.
No, what it was, Alan, it was actually only 2 players started from that Leeds game last night. So I don't want to be disrespectful to the boys that played last night, but it was Spurs' reserve team that played. Harry Kane and Tanganga obviously were part of it last night. It was lackluster. They were inefficient. There was a lack of aggressivity. Everything that you as a coach want to see when you're looking at a group of players who are trying to impress you, they didn't show that. And I think that is really alarming. Obviously, it's a conference game where now, ironically, they could finish second in the group, which will mean another 2 playoff games in February before trying to win through to the last 16. So everything was wrong, so much of it. The defensive display, the way they closed down, the quality of passing, the number of chances they created against a team that they should be beating.
Clive, you've got to look at the commitment as well, because Conte is the sort of manager that gets come on. You can see him on the line, find his arms around and whatever. But the commitment, surely, when you put that Tottenham shirt, and as you mentioned there, more reserve players, you've got a new manager managing you at the time. It's your massive opportunity, because everyone starts on the same level. You've got a massive opportunity to say, look, I'm going to be a player to be in your side going forward. Now, how many players could have said when they walked off the pitch last night, say, you know what, I'm a big part of Conte's future? Because he'll be looking at it saying, well, none of those players, I know, look, it sets Harry Kane and players like that, but most of those players were, coming off the pitch saying, I could have done 50% more tonight.
Absolutely, Ray. And I think that, when a new manager comes in, there's always a little uplift in atmosphere within the club. And if you've been out of favour, or if you haven't been a regular starter, you want to make a mark in the new manager's mind. Last night, there were too many of them that I think have just put themselves way, way down the pecking order. He'll look at it, he's assessing them, and he can't trust in a number of those players to play in the Premier League games that are coming up. A big cup tie against West Ham coming up in a few weeks' time. They've put themselves in a very, very difficult position in terms of having any argument with the manager to say, I should be starting in those big games.
Clive, I look at the performance last night and I look at the results, and for me, I can't say it's ability, because obviously them players have got ability. Obviously wouldn't be at Tottenham. I think it's a mentality problem, but the mentality before you cross that line to go on a pitch has to be to fight, tackle, run, and suffer, so that you can then dominate the game with your ability. Why are these Tottenham players not getting that?
I don't know, Trevor, and it's not the first time that it's happened. I think you're absolutely right. I think it's something that's bemused a number of coaches that have come in. The great Mourinho, Nuno comes in. You're expecting an uplift. You're expecting an attitude of mind that all the top teams. It's the requisite that you have to do all those things, and these boys are not doing it, and they can't say they haven't had the opportunity. It's almost like they don't want to be there, which is an absolutely crazy situation. Now, I'm not saying that they're not trying, but there's something in that attitude at the moment that is very, very poor, and subsequently the performances have been absolutely horrendous. That was as poor as it's been last night.
I don't want to signal people out, Clive, but Dele Alli, I'm sure everybody's, Spurs fans especially, will be looking at him saying, well, what's happened to his form? I mean, what he showed when he first turned up from MK Dons, we all thought, what a player. Playing for England on a regular basis, but his form's really gone downhill. What does he have to do, Clive? Is it time to move him on, or how'd you get the best out of him? Because you've been a coach and you probably know him better than most people. How'd you get the best out of Dele Alli?
Well, what we're seeing is a shadow of the Dele Alli that we know, a shadow of the player that can make runs from midfield, that can score goals, can link with Harry Kane, can be devastating. And all of a sudden, I feel for him. It's the most difficult time in his career. But what you see in Dele Alli is just a shadow of his former self. There doesn't seem to be a real desire. Now, I don't know how hard he's working on the training field. I don't know if he's getting his head down. He's working tirelessly. doing the basics, as we all know, unless you do the basics right, you're going to suffer. Your ability will come through, as Trevor said, quite rightly, but that hard work needs to be put in. Dele Alli needs to go right back to basics, and he needs to start to rebuild his career. He's talented. He has so much talent. It might well be that he needs to move away from Spurs now.
So, Clive, it's not all doom and gloom. I know it seems like it this morning, but just 1 point behind Arsenal and 4 behind West Ham. Spurs, they're still up there. If Conte, and he will improve them, there's no doubt about it. So there's still a lot to play for. Now, looking ahead at the weekend, there's some crackers, isn't there? Chelsea, who look strong, who look the opposite to Spurs. Not only the squad looks fantastic, they've got steel about them. Cracking game at the Bridge, Chelsea, Man United. And what about City, West Ham, Clive? Where you live, where he lives, a lot of West Ham around there. What a season they're having. Can they get something at City?
Well, it would be remarkable if West Ham go to City. I think that, two of my former clubs, I think that all the things that we're talking about Spurs not doing, it's exactly what West Ham have done as a group of players collectively, competition in every area of the field now. David Moyes has instilled a work ethic in them, and their abilities come through to take them where they are. I think they'll give City a run for their money at the weekend. I think Chelsea are the team to beat because Chelsea are doing everything that's right about having a squad of players who are fighting for places, who are producing the best form, who have a real desire to win games. Don't have to play well, but you just know that Chelsea are a really tough team to beat at the moment. So it is a fascinating weekend of games. It surely is.
Yeah. Clive, are you at a game this weekend for us? Are you working this weekend?
No, I'll be across all the games, Alan. I'll be covering French on Sunday evening as I do. I'm looking forward to that. The French League, obviously PSG running away with that at the moment, but fierce competition. Rennes are a really good side who, ironically, Spurs play in their last Europa Conference League game. And Spurs need to get something from that to finish second in the group. So, I obviously watch as much football as I can, Alan. I love it.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.